What if I were to tell you that Harry Potter, Star Wars, and Star Trek could all totally happen in the same universe? What if I were to tell you that in fiction, there is a hypothetical place in which all of your favorite characters and franchises can coexist? Well, pull out your fan fiction pencils and your thinking cap, because we're about to lay it all out. I'm Jokestrap, and this is Game Talk. No, I'm not accidentally calling it Game Talk either. We're really just showing how wide things are right now. So let's get one thing straight. I totally don't read fan fiction. I invest a lot of time into fully understanding the franchises I enjoy as the creators have intended. But I will acknowledge how cool it is for fan fiction to exist. Not just for things like making Neville Longbottom the one who defeats Voldemort, or making Theodore the tallest chipmunk in Alvin and the Chipmunks. Fan fiction is cool because it oftentimes does the one thing that real franchises are afraid to do: blend the worlds together. Do yourself a favor, go on google.com and search for the best crossovers in fan fiction. You'll find a bunch of stuff. It's amazing, just on name service alone. There's a crossover with A Bug's Life and Ants. There's the Les Mis crossover with Downton Abbey. There's somehow a crossover with Star Wars and The Lion King. Great stuff. Unsurprisingly enough, there's a crossover with Harry Potter and Doctor Who. Who would have figured? Well, to be honest, Doctor Who kind of figured. I'm pretty sure plenty of people have seen episodes of Doctor Who. I know I'm quite the fan. Harry Potter has been referenced several times in the show, even becoming a crucial plot point in one of the episodes. But beyond the show, the series has been referenced several times. In the Doctor Who comics, the radio shows, and even some of the Doctor Who novels. One in particular has some odd implications. In the final novel detailing the 8th Doctor's adventures, known as Doctor Who The Gallifrey Chronicles, another Harry Potter reference is made. There's a copy of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone inside of the 8th Doctor's TARDIS. The first page is completely crossed out with the words, "No, no, 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 it didn't happen like this at all," written in red ink. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of people wanted to just laugh at that and keep going. But if you're like me, you probably stopped and thought about that. If he says it didn't happen like this, then how did it happen? How would he know? The Doctor is a character that's very complex. They have such an expansive history. They could have had countless adventures and we wouldn't even know about them. Maybe this little quip isn't just a quick throwaway joke. Maybe he was there. Maybe somewhere in Hogwarts, we could find a photograph of a big blue block somewhere. What do I think? I think that perhaps it's possibly much bigger than that. In quantum mechanics, there is an idea widely known as the many worlds interpretation. This idea is basically stating that our reality is just one of many different parallel realities happening simultaneously. All of the decisions and options in life are all points where the realities split off into infinitely different, complex, separate realities. Every decision made creates a new timeline, forever branching off into alternate timelines. There is a reality where you ate breakfast this morning, and there's one where you skipped it. There's one where the Cold War is still happening, and there's one where shoes were never invented. What does this have to do with Doctor Who and our favorite shows and games? Simply put, I think the same principle can be applied to all fiction as well. For example, you can look at Marvel Comics and their various series and adaptations. Spider-Man is a character who most people look at as a single person. Whenever they see a new movie or TV show, or spin-off comic for that, there is a cry from a lot of fans about how it doesn't line up with the canon. However, this isn't actually the case. If you look it up, Marvel has what is known as a fictional multiverse. It's their way of sneakily cleaning up any character inconsistencies when telling stories differently. There's the mainstream universe Spider-Man that exists mainly in the Amazing Spider-Man comics. There's the Spider-Man trilogy universe Spider-Man that looks like Tobey Maguire and cries a lot. There's the Amazing Spider-Man film universe that has a young Peter Parker that looks like Andrew Garfield. There's even a universe where Spider-Man is a Japanese motorcyclist who got a magic bracelet from an alien from planet Spider. Now, these aren't wrong or not canon. They're all separate continuities that exist usually parallel from each other. In a sense, fan fiction exists in this realm too. The only thing that makes something canon to a series is if the creator says so. But even at that, fanfictions have their own canons too. Basically unlicensed alternate universes where events happen differently than in the universe that the franchise creators started. But backing up, Doctor Who has a lot of implications. And the things that it connects to have lots of implications too. Some would like to hear the phrase Star Wars, Star Trek crossover and groan at the idea. But considering what we're talking about, it's actually more likely than you think. In shows like Crossover on YouTube, they often try to connect fictional worlds and video games via crossover appearances, connecting one franchise to another, to another, to another until they succeed in making a link. But what I want to consider is, if one connects all the dots, would everything in fiction be possible in a theoretical alternate universe? This is what I'd like to call my many canons clause. Trademark, don't steal. What the many canons clause means is, any non-canon material of a franchise is actually just an alternate universe where those events happen differently. Any franchises that have crossed over before have a theoretical alternate universe where those things already coexist. The more things you connect, the more things that you can fit into this hypothetical alternate universe. Thus, if you can connect it, then it is possible for it to exist in the same universe with everything else it's connected to. So let's start with Doctor Who. What are the biggest things that we can connect in terms of universe? Well, starting with what we already know, we have a definite connection with Harry Potter and Doctor Who, suggesting that the Harry Potter books are both real in the Doctor Who canon and that they're based off of a true story. But what else? In the 10th Doctor's novel, Doctor Who Forever Autumn, the Doctor says that he's met the clan of Jar Jar Binks, that weird racist CG beast from the Star Wars prequels. More so, he suggests that the events of Star Wars as a film series was not George Lucas's own ideas, but rather a misinterpreted telepathic message from this clan member of Jar Jar Binks. So with that scene, we have a connection between Harry Potter, Doctor Who, and the Star Wars series as a whole, which means, perhaps in our future, we'll get to see Peter Capaldi go back in time with his TARDIS a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away to help nurse Stormtrooper Finn back to health after his duel with Kylo Ren. Now, from the past into the future, we've seen on numerous occasions several comics that may or may not be canon, with the Doctor meeting both Captain Kirk, Captain Picard, and their crews aboard the Starship Enterprise. With the many canons clause, that goes to being at least an occurrence of a universe where Star Trek and Doctor Who are both real events. For anyone who has wanted a Star Trek crossover with Star Wars but couldn't figure out how to justify it, there's your easy answer. It could be as simple as a Time Lord Victorious era Doctor and the TARDIS wanting to prevent Anakin Skywalker from straying to the dark side of the Force. So he takes him to the far, far future in order to have him out of Emperor Palpatine's clutches, only to get caught in an interstellar fight between the Enterprise and a Klingon starship. Is it possible? Maybe. Maybe not with Stephen Moffat and J.J. Abrams possibly bickering, but it's totally realistic in this AU that we've constructed via the many canons clause. Really, you can get really wild with this if you wanted to. Back in the 90s, Star Trek's comics crossed over with the X-Men on several occasions, bridging the gap between Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Harry Potter, and the entirety of Marvel's various universes. And if you think about it, Marvel has crossed over with DC Comics on several occasions too. So on that alone, you should be able to guess how big this could get. Just imagine. We could, in this theoretical crossover, get Doctor Who, Batman versus Superman versus X-Men versus the Fantastic Four versus the Jedi versus Starship Enterprise versus Dumbledore's army. Or not. This has been a very TV and comics-centric Game Talk. If you like this discussion, leave a like, and if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.